We don't just have businesses on the show. We have people who are out doing things in our community and for our community and serving our community in different ways. Our next guest is Ryan, whose last name I already forgot.
Townsend.
Ryan Townsend. You're with the Justice Coalition?
Yep, Central Valley Justice Coalition.
What do you guys work on?
So we partner with the church and the community to prevent human trafficking.
Okay.
And human trafficking is anyone who is forced and exploited against their will through force, fraud, or coercion for the economic gain of another person.
Okay, and I always pictured human trafficking as somebody's driving in a van, they grab some
like the movie
come and put them into service somewhere, but it doesn't just be a corner.
Yeah, trafficking, there are many different. A lot of times, gets the most clicks or gets the most attention on the 11 o'clock news is trafficking. We've had some major massage parlor busts here lately, and there was actually a huge trafficking operation that was busted up in west side of the town. Only one form of human trafficking, though. There's also labor trafficking. There are, believe it or not, forms of indentured servitude that are still out there. Something that we got rid of hundreds of years ago, and then other forms as well that whole kidnap you, drug you, unfortunately, and I don't want to miss it, but that's a very small percentage of the overall cases of trafficking.
And where do you guys come in? How do you interact?
So we around for a long time, but as an independent, as a 501c3 organization, we began last year in 2016. So I was a pastor on staff at a local church, North Park Community Church, for over 9 years, and had helped the Justice Coalition kind of get started as an all volunteer group. Very much a startup. We have to look at things like burn rate and forecasting for the future and growing. So I've got three staff with me, and then a whole bunch of volunteers and supporters and partners that are on board.
So what do you do? You're reaching out to people? You're educating people?
Yeah, so we work to prevent human trafficking through partnership, through education, and through outreach. And so we are a part of the overall, there's a bunch of different groups working to prevent human trafficking and to rescue victims of and survivors of trafficking. And so we're one of those groups. So we work in something called the Freedom Coalition, which includes Homeland Security, includes FBI, includes the police. In fact, I'm auditioning for detective with my mustache here, and so we're a part of that overall picture. We are a faith-based organization, and so we provide spiritual services and support to people who have been victims of human trafficking. Even more than that, we're involved with education. So our plan this year is to train over 250 people in Human Trafficking 101/201, and those courses take someone from knowing nothing about trafficking into taking some steps.
Some steps. So
taking some action, and then we also are involved in the education system with classes that help to prevent at-risk teen girls, 12 to 18, from being exploited, help teaching them valuable life skills. It's a holistic curriculum called My Life, My Choice. And then we work to partner with a whole bunch of different groups. We have something called the Pledge to Stop Trafficking with former Mayor Ashley Swearingen and the Regional Foundation, the Central Valley Regional Foundation. And we have a big event coming up that maybe I'll come on here and talk about again in the future. But today, one thing I'm really interested in mentioning, because this is the business show, is just to highlight some of the business partners that we've had. I think one of the things that people feel really overwhelmed about is human trafficking is such a big issue. And a lot of times people will say to me, well, I'm glad you're doing something about that, because I wouldn't even know where to start, what to do. And I think this is an issue that is going to take all of us working together. And I don't know if you've noticed, but our current political climate is not one that necessarily brings people together. I don't even know what party you belong to, but you were in the assembly before, Mike. And my brother actually works for Tom Lackey. He's his capital director up there in Sacramento. And so he kind of keeps, and the California Assembly and Senate have done some great bipartisan work to combat human trafficking. But one thing that can bring people together is this issue. So I know a lot of people in the nonprofit sector, and I know a lot of people that have for-profit businesses, and a lot of times their political views don't always align exactly. But this is an issue. This is an issue that can bring people together. And so recently we completed a challenge, a campaign in the month of June, which was sort of a crazy thing because no one usually tries to fundraise in June and do anything like that. It was a virtual campaign, and we added a bunch of new donors. It was really exciting time. But one of the things that we've realized is that one of the missing pieces sometimes is you have private donors, you have federal funds, you've got law enforcement, you've got schools, educators. We also need business people. We need people that are out that know how to turn a profit and then turn that money into good. And so we've added a couple of really awesome business partners lately. Snow Cafe, I don't know if you've heard of them.
Sure.
If you've enjoyed their tasty treats. Jeb's Blueberry Hill is a restaurant that's located right near our office. We're at Blackstone and Saginaw, Blackstone, Dakota, right in central Fresno. Window Genie is another business that's come on board, and then we have an ag company called True Organic Products. That's really the company that really helped us get started in the beginning. And so I really just want to make an appeal beyond all the mumbo jumbo of corporate responsibility and do-gooding, for these groups. I really want to say that, $50 a month from a business, especially a local partner to prevent human trafficking here in the Central Valley, really makes a huge difference, and it encourages those of us who are doing the work every day, but it also shows everyone else that every little step counts. And we try to tell people where we want to send everyone out, not bum them out. And so there's nothing like. I was at of course I go to some human trafficking prevention conferences, and sometimes they show us some very, very sad stories, and then we just leave. And I really think it's important to bring that hope to it too.
Well, I like to hear about these businesses that are helping you, because for me it's just as easy to go in a business that's making some effort and giving back to the community, and when you say their names, like, I'm going to go in there. When I'm in there, I'm going to say hi. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for stepping up. Now, training people, obviously when you got here, I didn't know much about human trafficking. So part of it is education, and then you're going to train people to be involved. Yeah,
so I think sometimes the word awareness gets a bad rap because everyone's raising awareness, building awareness, spreading awareness, and sometimes that can sound like code for not doing anything. Yeah. But Gary Haugen, who's the founder of a group called International Justice Mission, he says awareness is crucial because nothing can happen without first awareness.
Being aware of it.
Yeah,
right.
And so what we do in these courses, and we're available to train. We're training a certain school district. We're training their prevention, their intervention staff and employees coming up here just in a couple of weeks. What we want to do is open people's eyes to the problem, and then we want them to know that they can take action. And so they can call the National Human Trafficking Hotline, which is on our website, justiceco.org. They can take steps to volunteer their time. They can give financially. But the first thing is just to, if you're anything like me, you might be guilty of just looking at your phone when you're out, walking around, driving around. There have been multiple times, even just this year, 2017, where someone has made a report to the trafficking hotline, which is forwarded on to Kurt Chastain, who's the head of the Vice and Human Trafficking Unit for Fresno PD, and then they've been able to intervene in that situation.
Wow. Because people look around, notice what's going on. Now, part of your program is to catch people, educate people that you can control your own life. You don't have to...
exactly. Because the best story is no story, right? So we love to hear stories of somebody being rescued and then finding a new life and making a new start. But the best thing would be for them never to have to do that in the first place. And so this is where parents... I have a 10-and-a-half-year-old daughter who wants, she'll probably watch this interview at some point, who wants to get a smartphone, and she's not getting a smartphone. And she says, Dad, that's just because you work, just because of your job and stuff. And it's not just because of my job, because there are people out there who want to prey on our kids and who want to, who have nefarious motives in mind. And so the best story is really for people to know. This goes into labor trafficking. A lot of times people are desperate for work and they will get into a situation. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. And there have been some cases where labor subcontractors in agriculture, and even guys who are not really subcontractors, but they pose as that, and then they are exploiting workers. And so the more that people are aware that human trafficking, slavery is a real thing. It's outlawed in every country of the world, and yet today there are more slaves in the world today, some estimates as high as 40 million, than there were in the entire transatlantic slave trade in the history of slavery when we were taking people across the ocean.
Now, you talked about training people to be out on the streets. Would somebody you train actually go up to somebody that's maybe being taken advantage of and counsel them?
So we try to encourage people to use prudence and wisdom and to be smart. In our training, we focus on people understanding the problem and then knowing which resources to call. So if there's ever a situation where you might feel in danger, we would encourage you to call the police, to even call 911 if you think that there's something's happening. But yeah, certainly if there's somebody who looks like they need help at our office, which is at 1400 East Saginaw Way in Central Fresno. We have resource cards, and these cards don't even say human trafficking resources on them. They just say the resource line, and they're the type of cards that you can give to people. Yeah, so there have been times when I've been down on a Parkway myself, and I've left a stack of those cards at a phone booth, or left them we've mobilized volunteers and gone out to hotels and businesses and tried to get information out there too.
Now, somebody's watching, they want to support, maybe, you need to raise money.
We do need to raise money. That's a reality
There's
of
no
it.
government giving you money?
No, we are 100% privately funded.
Or if somebody just wants to get involved and be involved with you guys, where should they start? Is there a website?
Yeah, they should start at our website, which is justiceco.org. Okay. And from there, we've hopefully made it as easy as possible for you to figure out what your next step is going to be. So we have justiceco.org. Yeah, justiceco.org. And there's a contact form. You fill out a contact. We will get back in touch with you, have you come in and speak with us, and get you started. And there's so many different things that you can do. Yeah. So not everyone is going to go. Not everyone's going to go out on the streets and start talking to people who look like they might be enslaved. Some people may want to come in and shred some papers and or do some data entry. Or
there's always a place to help.
There's always a place to help. Yeah.
It's the Justice Coalition.
The Justice Coalition
of Fresno, or just the Justice?
It's the Central Valley Justice Coalition. So we work in Tulare County, Fresno County, Madera County. We've got contacts as far north as Merced and as far south as Kern. We have many partners who we're doing this work with. So I want to always be careful not to characterize it as we're the only ones that are doing good work, and we're the only ones that are going to do something about this problem.
But you're a place where people could get involved.
Exactly. And like I said, it's such a big problem that we need people left, right, Democrat, Republican, of any and no faith to come together to make this this happen.
Everybody could get on board with.
Absolutely.
Central Valley Justice Coalition, Ryan Townsend. The website again?
It's justiceco.org.
Like Justice Coalition, justiceco.org.
Yeah, just justiceco.org.
Now, if you can't find it or you didn't write it down, call me. I'll give you Ryan's number. I got it right here.
Yep.
And we'll put you in touch with the Justice Coalition. Great place to get involved with. If you have to... some schools require these kids to spend some hours in community service.
Yep.
This could be a good one.
Yep, absolutely.
If you...
or interns.
Yeah,
if you're a college student and you need to do an internship, that's something that you can get in touch with us about too.
Perfect. We will be back with more Central Valley Business right after this.